Hey mages, welcome to today's Phyrexia All Will Be One video. Today I am going to be looking at what I think are the best budget crafts on MTG Arena for all us budget players. We know how hard it is to grind for the rare and mythic wildcards, but the commons and uncommons are a little bit easier, and we can play some really good strong cards hopefully from All Will Be One, and these will fit into some of your decks. So the first one that I'm going to look at today is a Blazing Crescendo. This is a 1 red instant mana. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn, and you get to exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. So this will be seen, I think, maybe in mono red will play this because it's a nice combat trick. Giving it +3/1 is a nice buff, and you might be able to get through with a little token that they think, we'll let that one through, then you can +3/+1 it, get through potential 4 power, 5 power, depending on the power of your creature. But then the addition, what makes this really good, is the ability to exile that top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. So in a deck like mono red that might have burn, you might have mana open, not have it in your hand, exile that turn, exile that card, and then potentially play it on the same turn and finish your opponent off. But even so, for a red deck to get card advantage is quite hard sometimes. And with a card like Blazing Crescendo, not only are you getting a combat trick, but you're also getting the ability to draw an extra card, which is what I like. This is a really cool card, and it's a common card, and it's only 2 mana at instant speed. So maybe in Grawl aggro, maybe in any type of creature deck where you'll be turning those creatures sideways, I think this could be a pretty decent card, to be honest. Next card I'm looking at is Sheoldred's Edict. Now, we've had a few edit cards in the past. This one is very good. It's instant speed, where sometimes they are sorcery. This is 1 and a black mana, and the addition of each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker is massive for this card. I think this will see a little bit of standard play outside of budget builds, without a doubt. I think it can be easily put in there because potentially people aren't dropping loads of planeswalkers. So if you've got an instant speed reaction to just them dropping their first planeswalker, it's going to be pretty decent, isn't it? If they're dropping anything that could do you damage, or something big. If they're just playing like the one big creature, sacrificing that creature, we have the option to do that as well, and sacrificing a non-token creature as well. So it's creature token or non-creature token. So it gives you options with this card, and I think the versatility of it, especially if added in the planeswalker, makes this card that, especially for us budget players, we'll be putting in there because it gives us a good 2 mana, hopefully resource to getting rid of planeswalkers. Next card is a Phyrexian Bat. Phyrexian Bat, I just love that. Flying at Toxic 1. This is Voidwing Hybrid. It's a 2/1, so good stats for me, a 2/1 for 2. If it had been 1/2, it just wouldn't be as good. So the 2/1 with that is really nice. When you proliferate, return Voidwing Hybrid from your graveyard to your hand. This is going to be a recurring nightmare. Any maybe aggressive Dimir aggro deck, just anything. I think a lot of people are going to try to build a poison deck, and for me, this is a very good aggro creature for that. It's a nice uncommon, blue and a black, so you're going to need a little bit of luck with the land base potentially, especially for us budget players. But this is just still a very good card. Getting those poison counters are, and when we can put it in some kind of proliferate poison type of brew that I probably will be building without a doubt, this recurring creature is going to be an all-star for us. I can just see it already. It really is. Let me know what you think of this card especially, and what sort of decks are you going to be building? Are you going to go in for a poison deck, proliferate deck? Which sort of cards are exciting you at the moment? We go on to the next card now, and it's Canker Bloom, a 1/green Phyrexian fungus. The art in this set, I must say, is just absolutely amazing, and I think this one is just so cool. Now, already you're getting up stats with this. You're getting a 3/2 for 2 mana, and then you're getting the ability of, destroying stuff. So you can sacrifice it, destroy target artifact, or you could destroy target enchantment, or you can proliferate just by paying 1. This card is great. You can use it as your attacker, the blocker, whatever you want. You can block and then potentially sacrifice and get rid of something at the same time. If you can get recursion and bring it back from the graveyard, it could be, recurring removal for artifacts and enchantments, and obviously proliferate. So for me, the fungus as an uncommon with the stats, especially as a 3/2 for 2 mana, this will probably see play in some other standard decks. But yeah, it's just a really good value card. So now we go on to a blue card, Experimental Augury. It's 1 and a blue. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order, and then proliferate. For me, this is just, this is a good card. Looking at the top 3, helping go through your deck. It's a common card, remember, as well. Put one of them in your hand and the rest into the bottom of your library. Now, you do remember Anticipate that always saw quite a lot of pay, but this has Proliferate as well, so it's going to help if there's any kind of blue Proliferate decks out there, or any mixture of those blue X decks, and this will help you find what you need from your card. And 2 mana, instant speed. At the end of opponent's turn, you could be playing this and then putting those counters potentially on something. If you're doing poison, maybe mono blue poison burn. That is an idea that I've seen chucked around as well, so that potentially could be a thing as well. But yeah, Experimental Augury, really, really sweet card for me. Then we go on to Vat of Rebirth. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on the vat. This is a 1 mana artifact. So good, so it's just amazing. For an uncommon 1 mana, then pay 3, remove 4 oil counters from Vat of Rebirth, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, not to your hand, to your battlefield. But you only get to activate this as a sorcery. Obviously, uncommon 1 mana. It's never going to be instant speed to do that. But sacrificing treasures, anything like that, when anything like a blood token hits the graveyard, you will be able to do this. So it's anything like that. So there's lots of ways that you can build those sort of decks, especially in Rakdos. So for me, this is a brew around card, Vat of Rebirth, and it's one that I'm pretty excited about, and I think it's a really good craft and be able to use in those kind of anvil sort of decks. And Vat for me is going to be a sweet card to build around. And then, talking of sweet cards, let's have a look at this. Anoint with Affliction. 2 mana, common card, exile target creature with its mana value 3 or less. And there is so many good creatures at 3 mana or less. And then Corrupted, exile that creature instead if its controller has 3 or more poison counters. So late game, this is just going to get even better, where you'll be able to exile anything for 2 mana. Common card. Crazy powerful for me. I love it. Early game going to be great. Getting rid of some of those soldier decks. Getting rid of a lot of theirs is 2 mana, 3 mana or less without a doubt. They only really run the Argive. So this will be a 4 of in a lot of decks, especially in budget decks as well. I think it's just absolutely great. One of the best cards for me at common status. What do you think of it? I'm really, really excited to play that. The next card is another black card. I think this is a cool build-around card. Scheming Aspirin, 2 mana, 1/3 uncommon. Whenever you proliferate, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's a win con. It's a drain effect. We'll definitely be brewing around this. What are your ideas for this deck? Getting those proliferate, making a proliferate budget deck if we can, and then just using these. If we've got 2 of these on the field, we are just going to be draining our opponent. I love this card. Scheming Aspirin. Really excited to build around this. I think, this is probably one of the first cards you will see in my budget brews from the new set. I think, this with the black removal we just saw as well. We got so many good cards for budget players. I'm so excited with this set, and I think this is going to be top, and brews will be coming with that card. Ossification is my next one. 1 and a white enchantment aura. Just better than pacifism. Pacifism, can see play. This is nice. It gives white, if you're playing mono white, an option. Enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you have to enchant a basic land you control. So with decks like mono white, this is going to be very easy to do, and it's a good 2 mana to get rid of planeswalkers or exile a creature. Now, if they're not running the enchantment spot removal in, if this is going to be even better. There's not going to be many decks that will be putting in there to deal with a card like this. So for budget players, 2 mana again to get rid of a planeswalker or a massive creature is going to be great. Now, are they going to be destroying lands? Probably not. So they're going to have to need the specific removal to get rid of these. So, mono white control, getting rid of creatures, planeswalkers, this to me will definitely be a 4 of, and a very, very nice card. Next card I really think we'll see some play is Bring the Ending, and it's going to be a really good budget build for us. 2 mana, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. And with Corrupted, this is not, in the right kind of deck. This is not going to be a dead card like Make Disappear can be at the end of games. Counter that spell instead if its controller has 3 or more poison counters. So in the right build of a, blue X poison type of deck, this will be counter that spell for 2 mana late game when you've got those poison counters on there. I think, early game, great, like Make Disappear if you've got them and this in there. This one just gets better late game. And for me, a really good counter spell. Not much to say about that one, just a nice counter spell for any blue X players. So we've got 2 more cards to look at, and the second to last one is Plano Disruption, another white card. What gets some really good commons and uncommons? This is another bit of removal. Enchant artifact, creature or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activate abilities can't be activated. This for me will go into that mono white budget control build, and that's obviously another deck that I've got brewing in my mind, so let me know what you think about that one. So this is another card like the previous one that we saw that can enchant the land. This is another way to deal with artifacts as well as creatures and planeswalkers, and there's a lot of big artifacts and they're like the full Phyrexia that brings stuff back, and if we've got a 2 mana answer to it, that is what we like to do. The last card is another white card, Jawbone Duelist. It's a 1/1 double strike toxic 1. So double strike, when it attacks, it will hit that poison counter, and then it's double strike, so it hit again, so they would get another poison counter. Very good in the aggro decks, anything with blue, white aggro, anything this would be going. Boros aggro, I think this card for 1 mana to be double strike, and the ability, potentially to pump it up with like maybe the red card that we saw at the start would give it +3/1, exiling. It can go really well in that kind of build, and double strike can, left unchecked, can get the job done, and with a little side plan of getting the poison counters on as well, we can get those poison counters up, and yeah, Jawbone Duelist for 2 mana, nice uncommon. We've had cards like this before. I can't remember if Fencing Ace was a 1/1, but this one has Toxic 1, so a little bit of an upgrade. And yeah, we'll be introducing all the players to poison counters in this next standard. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. It's going to be very fun, but it's also going to maybe potentially lead to some very quick games. So there's 12 really cool common and uncommon cards that are going to be great for us budget players to go and craft. For me, these are the best ones of the bunch so far. If there's any that you think are really good, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know any ones that you think are really good and can fit into some budget brews and what you want to be crafting, or that some that, the commons and uncommons that you think will make into standard and see some really good constructed play. Just want to say thank you for watching the video. If you're here to the end, it means a lot. Giving a thumbs up, subscribing really does help out the channel a lot, and sharing the videos. If you want to go the extra further, like I always say, I always appreciate my patrons, so I thank them in every single video, and there's even a chance there in one of the tiers where you get to play me one-on-one every month, private session, just me and you battling it out, maybe talking about brews. So take a look at the Patreon down below. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.